Father God, to stand before you. And I thank you for your grace that has saved me, Father God. So I ask that today you use me as your vessel, Father, whether I be a screwdriver, whether I be whatever tool that I be in your box today. Lord, whether I've come for one person, Father God, then that is all worth it, because, Lord, you love us all so much, Father God, that you make a way. So I thank you for today. I ask you to bless the words in my mouth now. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for all welcoming me. I am so humbled by the hospitality I've received over the weekend, by all my beautiful sisters. Individually, you've all helped me. Sorry I can't remember all your names. I'm not very good at remembering names at my age. But I am really, truly honoured. And like Pastor Sandy said, that we've known each other a long time, but we haven't seen each other for about 14 years. And just through the means of internet, Facebook is not always a great thing, but I seen that she commented on somebody's post that I knew. And I was like, wow, I haven't seen you for such a long time. And then pressed to be her friend. And then that was only a couple of months ago. And in between that, she's come down to Birmingham, where I live. And we came and I met you in the park. And you must come. And here I am. And that's, it's the grace of God. Yeah. And I came for yesterday. And then while we finished, Pastor asked me, would I speak today? And I was like, oh, okay, yes, straight away, because it's not about us, but it's about God. And if we're serving God, then whatever He asks us to do, then so we shall. And I went back last night and I, sat there and prayed and just said, okay, is this really happening to me tomorrow? It's not something I do every day. So bear with me if I have to keep looking at my notes that I was writing. We're all brothers and sisters in Christ, and I'm no different to you. I'm just standing and holding a microphone. Okay?
Facebook Live, can't get it.
So the scripture that I was looking at was Matthew 8, verse 8. Sorry. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this one, go, and he goes. And to another, come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard it, he marvelled and said to those who followed, surely I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. And I say to you that many will come from east and west, and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then Jesus said to the centurion, go your way, and as you have believed, so let it be done for you. And his servant was healed that same hour. Now for me, I was questioning that, and I was like, wow. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will, I underlined will, be healed. For I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. For me, there was no doubt in the centurion's heart when he spoke with Jesus, for he recognized the great power within him.
There is nothing to tell us that this centurion was a believer, or that he even had a faith, just that he was a soldier who recognised authority. In my eyes, he must have been an excellent centurion with a great eye for detail, an obedient heart to follow orders. So he must be very, very good at his job. His faith was huge. There was no quiver and there was no stumbling. He was very direct. He knew his sin by saying he was not worthy for Jesus to enter his home. This was not a family member he was requesting to be healed, but a servant. This said a lot about this man's character. He was caring. I can imagine that he showed compassion to his servants, who in turn served him very, very well. Hence him asking for his servant to be healed. Through his belief that Jesus could heal his servant without even attending the house or laying on of hands, made Jesus marvel and say, "Surely I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. And I say to you that many will come from the east and west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." This is a reality. It's not made up. We see all these films, they come out, all these futuristic films, all these things that are happening, but it's just a made-up film. This is real. It's not made up. These things are going to happen. And sometimes we read, we're reading the word, and sometimes we're just reading it, and it can just go over our head. Sometimes we have to really ponder and think, oh my gosh, this is, we know it's real, but when the words sink into us, this is real, this is coming. Jesus then said to the centurion, "Go your way, and as you have," and again I underlined, have believed, so let it be done for you. And his servant was healed that same hour. What are we believing for? What are we praying for? When we're praying, are we believing that it's going to happen? Or are we praying and maybe hoping it's going to happen? Or are we standing on God's word and knowing that as we speak the word of God, it's going to happen? There was no maybe with the centurion. There was no might. Can you or will you? Not sure. I will try and ask. The question was direct. And the centurion knew in his heart that Jesus could heal his servant. He knew. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't have asked. But he knew. How powerful was that? But yet so humbling. How did he know to come to Jesus? How did he know? He recognised the power within. Amen. Was it word of mouth? Maybe someone he knew who got healed? He went against all odds and beliefs to speak to Jesus. Maybe he put his career on the line. Maybe if they caught him speaking to Jesus, because he was a Roman centurion, maybe he would have been thrown in jail. Who knows? We don't know. But he had that faith to approach Jesus. The centurion was 100% sure that Jesus could heal his servant and knew that it would only take a command. For me then, I pondered and thought, wow, did he follow Jesus again? Did he look out for Jesus? After the resurrection, did he get saved? Did his family get saved? Did all the soldiers under his command get thing. Sometimes, as I was speaking to Pastor this morning, we were sharing something. Sometimes just that one little tiny bit of faith, or the one question God is telling us to go and do, or the command He's telling us to go and do, and sometimes we ponder and think, is that from you? Or is it just me? Yeah. But just by faith, we reach out and we believe it, and then we see the blessing after. It's like a domino effect. We step out, and then God's will and God's blessings follows. So for me, that is faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Do we recognise Jesus for who He is? Do we really know Him? Do we understand the power of Jesus? Do we understand what authority He has given us on earth? Something this morning I seen that came up on my memories, and it says, "Do not mistake my quiet and gentle spirit for weakness. I am a mighty warrior, child of God, and my praise move mountains." Do we all believe that today? That our praise move mountains by faith? And then I was looking in Exodus 15:26, and it said, "And if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in His sight, and will give ear to His commandments, and keep all His statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee." And then also in Numbers 12, verse 13, Moses pleaded for Miriam, and Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, "Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee." Moses implored and begged God to heal Miriam. That leprosy suddenly came on Miriam through sin, because God rebuked her as she flouted His authority. Miriam, for me, was the first racist. She didn't like it that her brother had married outside. Why are we any different? It all kind of ties in with, again, faith, because Moses was pleading for God, heal her. Moses' faith knew that God could just heal Miriam in an instant. But God didn't heal Miriam in an instant. She had to go outside for a while, and then she came back in, and she understood His authority. For me, walking in faith, I've had to walk in faith. We all have. All of us walk in faith, but believe in it. And where my life was before, obviously you don't really know me, you don't know anything about me. The ladies had a snippet of it yesterday. I got saved in 1992, May the 17th, 1992. I was 25 years old. And I had 4 children, and I was with, not married, I was with my partner, and he came along and he got saved after a while, because when I went home, and I didn't ask him to come to church, I didn't ask him to do anything with me, I just silently just kept going back and forth. And by faith, by me praying, he got saved. And we started going to church, and we got married the following year. Not because everyone told us we had to be married, but we got married because we knew within us that God was going to use us. And if we was to stand together as Christians, we knew it was the right thing to be married. Because how can we go out and tell people, yeah, we're not doing it ourselves? So we were married. And God moved within us. We started preaching in prisons, talking about the life that we came from, and we started, we worked in Caring Hands that we had in our church, and we did a lot within our community. But by faith, we lived. And we came from a life, our lifestyle was kind of different back then. You know, I wasn't working at the time. I was raising the children. My husband was in the music business, but it wasn't really making much money. And on the side, he sold cannabis. And all of a sudden, when we went to church, God just took all of that away, and we just stopped. You know, nobody tried to tell us. Nobody told us, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. But God just took it from us. And every Sunday, I would open my purse, and whatever was in there, I would just pour into the offering, believing that the next day, God would provide. And by faith, we lived for a long time like that, believing, okay, God, we've given up everything you wanted us to. We're not doing our life, but we're believing in you. And we believed. And God, the amount of miracles, that by faith we believed that, okay, you're going to provide, and he did. Amen. So just building on that faith. Long time after, my husband did really well in the music business. He went away from one style of music and into another. And we travelled, and I was able to minister while we was away, which was amazing. I'd be in Hollywood, I'd be in the studios, I'd be all over the place ministering. Then my husband started going away a long time, and I was growing more spiritually, and he wasn't. And the devil comes in to kill, steal, and destroy. And we were a pillar in our community. They called our house the Oasis House, because even though people would say, oh, we lived in the ghetto, people recognised us, our friends, and they knew where we come from. They didn't mock us, they were happy that we'd stepped up, but they knew they could still come into our home, they could still be fed. I would have prostitutes come into my home, and I would be there, and maybe if they were bleeding, help them out, do whatever, you know. So we were recognised in our community. When my husband, the longest time he went away was for 6 months, and it was really hard. But you know, I continued, I was going to church, I was doing what I needed to do, and by faith I believed everything would be fine. When he came back off this tour, he came back different, and I knew. We'd been together since we were 17 years old. I knew something was not right. Something is not right within him. And he kept saying, no, I'm fine, it's you. But we kept arguing, and we didn't argue. You know, people say, you never argue. No, we didn't. We'd have little disagreements, but at the end of the day, we would discuss them, and then we would, you know, before we went to bed, we would solve them, we would be happy. And this one went on from the June until the December, and I felt like I had a knife going through my heart constantly, going to work, driving to work, because by then I was working, God opened doors, and things were going on. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? And so in the end, it was Christmas Eve, and he'd just come off another tour, and he was actually playing in our hometown. And many people were going to the show, and we were taking our children, and family were meeting. And I went to that show, and I came back, and my husband said to me, oh, just go on home, I'll be there soon. And I was like, oh, okay, it's Christmas Eve. Okay, it's a bit strange. And I waited, and when I got home, I sat on the bed and I thought, Lord, there's something not right. There is something not right, and I need to know. And I just got up, and I just slowly went up and opened the wardrobe door, and inside, I don't even know what I was looking for, I really didn't know what I was looking for, but inside, I went, and there was a package, and I took the package, and in the package was letters and cards and photos of and CD-ROMs with me and Maria in Las Vegas, me and Maria in Jamaica, me and Maria in Gracelands, me and Maria, and I was like, wow, okay, and I just knew. So with that, when he came, I approached him and said, I found everything. And he was like, yes, I'm leaving you. And on Christmas Day, I cooked the dinner and sat down And he got up and said, I'm going for a walk, and he came back and he said, I'm leaving you. And he walked out on me and the children on Christmas Day. After that, I still continued to go to church, and I was praying. And I was praying for God to open the door, for him to come back. And we would meet sometimes, and I would sit with him, and I felt like I was counselling him. And he was just sharing about how he loved this woman. And he didn't really want to leave me because he didn't really want me to find out. And would I wait because I'm a Christian woman? Would I wait till he decides? Or could he have the two of us? And for me, I had to say no, I'm not a doormat. But the door is open, but soon it will close. And later on then, I found out it was this woman's birthday. And I went to him and I tested him and I gave him an envelope with the air fried. And I said, are you going over there? And I said, there's the money to go. And he went. And for me, God shut the door. Even though I didn't want that door shut. And for a long time after, I was praying and I was in church. But about 2 years later, I fell out of church. And I never ever thought that I would fall away from God, ever. But I did. People in work, and I'm not blaming people because we all make choices. But people in work surrounded me more and helped me more than my brothers and sisters. Like, because my husband was famous in the rock world and everyone was, but it was like, look what he's done to me. You know, look what he's done. But yet, you're Ryan, you're there for him. Hello, Rebecca, the person who always helped everyone, who's, being a prayer warrior with everyone. And I just fell away. I fell away from church, not from God. I still love God, but I fell away from church. And within that time, my mum died. I had a car crash. I became a grandmother. My eldest son went to prison, and lots of things happened. Then, just before the end of 2010, I fell and I fractured my sacrum, and I was lying in a hospital bed on the 2nd of January, and my bowel and my bladder had been affected, so I had to have 2 bags in as well. And I was lying there and I couldn't move. I had to be picked up and carried. I had to be picked up all the time, which was frustrating. And nobody came to see me. And I was on an older people ward, and I remember thinking, gosh, my daughters popped in when they could because they were working. But I remember lying there and thinking, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? And with that, I suddenly one day had sort of a fit and whatever, and the nurses were all around me. They called the doctors, and I was out of it. I can't remember. Then they were doing all MRI scans on my brain, thinking there was something wrong with my brain. Then they moved me to a room on my own. I was like, oh, I'm in a room on my own now. I remember then the consultant came in and said to me, Rebecca, I've been talking to my colleagues up and down the country, and we don't know what to do. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, your back will heal, but your thread... Very small, very small. And he said, they're not repairable. He said, at 6 a.m, we're going to take the catheters out. And by 12 midday, we will decide what's going to happen. I was like, oh, okay, well, I've never prayed so much in all my life. Praying and praying, please God, I don't want to live like this. I'm so sorry for, is this my punishment? Please God, help me, help me, help me. And 7 o'clock came, 8 o'clock came, 9 o'clock came, I was running water, I was going in the shower, I was drinking water, I was like, please, please. I think about 10 to 11, I had a feeling, because I didn't have no feeling in my legs or anywhere, and I had a feeling, I was screaming, nurse, nurse, I have a feeling, I have a feeling, I think I need to go. I have never been so excited excuse them, never been so excited. And so I was in hospital another week, and then they let me home. I asked, please, can I go home now? I need to heal at home. Spiritually, I was still there. I just went home. I was very tired. I was very worn. Lots of things were still going on. By that time, my ex-husband, now because he's divorced me, had now left that woman. He was living in America and came back. And suddenly started saying, can I have the house? Can I have the house? Can I have the house? And I was just like, oh, you know. But a week later, when I came out of hospital, one of my sisters suddenly died. And I went, it was a year till my mum had died. So I was still grieving my mum and still mourning my mum. And I was still quite weak, and one of my sisters called me and said, Josephina is in hospital. I'm like, okay, but we all need to go. Okay, well, I live quite far. How will I get there? I'm not driving. I've just come out of hospital. Just get a taxi and get to Cardiff, and then we will get you and pick you up and take you. And I went in to see my sister, and all my sisters, I'm the youngest of 10. So I went in to see them, and my sister was sat up in the hospital bed, and everyone was more concerned about me. But I left my sister that night because they said, oh, go home, Becky, go to one of our houses and wait for us. And I said, okay, and I hugged my sister, and she said, I love you, go home and get well. You need to get well. And I said, okay. And I went back to one of my sister's houses, and I tried to sleep, but I couldn't sleep. And my niece walked in, and she said, Auntie, she's gone. I said, who's gone? Who's gone? Auntie has gone. I said, get me to the hospital now. She took me to the hospital, and I walked in because my sister was still in the bed. She'd only just passed. And when I went in there, they hadn't even closed the mouth, so she was up, you know. And that just threw me, and I just ran away. And I went home to my house, and my ex-husband just stood asking, can I have the house? Can I have the house? And I said, you know what? Take the house. Take everything in. Have it all. I just needed some peace in my life. And I went to Birmingham. Somebody had offered me to go and stay in their flat. And I went. I took my clothes and I went. And everyone was like, why are you leaving your house? Why are you doing? But you know what? I just needed peace in my life at that time. But I went there, and I was still not walking with God. And I ended up in a situation with someone where I just went further and deeper into sin. But I was dipping in and out of church because I know who I am. But when sin comes in and it suddenly takes over you, it builds, and you don't realise at the time, but it builds and builds. And I knew I had to get away from this flat and find my own place, which I did. And I thank God. I was still praying, and I thank God that I found a house. So I found a little house, and I had nothing, but I started over again. I remember moving in and not even having a knife and fork or anything, you know, but just moving in with all my clothes and everything else. And my son came with me. One of my sons has a form of autism, so he's always around me. And I moved in there, and I got a job. I did get a job, and I was working for 12 months trying to mend myself, trying to heal myself. But we can't do it on our own, can we? Yeah. You know, we can't do things on our own, but I was still living in, you know, amongst myself and doing things my way. Still thanking God for the day, but just walking. Then I had a phone call. Could I take 3 of my grandchildren who lived up in Leeds? They were my sons with the autism. He had a relationship with a girl and had children up in Leeds. Could I take them? And at first I said, no, I can't. I have no means to take them, and I'm just trying to get myself well. I put the phone down, and 2 weeks later, I had a dream, and I could hear the eldest one calling me, Nanny, Nanny, I put down the phone and I was due to move out of this house. I was going to move out of this house again. And the landlord, I was packing up everything. And the landlord, I phoned him and I said, I can't move. I can't move. And he said, why not? And I explained the situation. And I was like, have you got other tenants to move in? He said, no. And he said, okay, I explained to his children with the situation. So anyway, the landlord let me stay in the house. And I phoned the social services and I said, I will take them. Now, I didn't know the two little ones very well. I just knew the older one, she was 5. So every Friday then I had to travel from Birmingham to Leeds to have contact with these children. Well, 4 days a month was taking out my wages, was taking out my food money. And I used to go out with my tenants, my clients at work, and sometimes they would be eating and say, oh, eat Rebecca, but I didn't even have no money for food. And I would go home and I would just eat wherever. And I remember one night, my manager turned up with a box. Now, we used to give food boxes out and food parcels to our clients. He turned up with one for me. And he's like, I think you need this. So God was always with me. When I look back every step of the way, God was always with me. And there were so many times that I didn't want to be here, but God kept me here. And thank you. So after, I think, about 5 months of me going back and forth to Leeds, the last week of January, I had to go up and go to court and do everything and go and take the children from foster care and bring them home. Now, they'd set up a plan for me and everything, but I was there, I passed, I was a good parent, I was a good, I was their nan, so they were just coming to me. But I thought, well, at least, God, you have to provide, because I'm taking on 3 children. I'm going to have to give up work for a while. They're 5, 2, and 3. How am I going to cope? I went up to Leeds on the Friday and picked them up, and all they had provided me with was car seats to put in my car to carry the children home. Not even the foster carer packed me a sandwich or asked me in for a cup of tea. Nothing. And I remember driving home that night, and the children, and it was dark and raining, crying all the way home. What am I going to feed them when I get home, Lord? What am I going to do? Aisha starts school on Monday. I've already arranged the school. I have to buy a school uniform. What am I going to do? Okay, you've given me these children. I'm going to believe you're going to provide. On the Saturday, I woke up, thought, what can I give them? I made them porridge, and I made 5 dumplings, said, there's your breakfast, eat. What's happening next, God? I phoned my daughter, and now, you don't know me, but I've never borrowed in my life. I don't borrow. I've always been very independent and always prayed and believed. And I was speaking to my daughter, and she said, Mum, I have my rent money here. I will send you that. You can get the uniform, and you can get everything else, and then things will sort itself out. On the Monday, I rang then, I went on the internet and I researched all about it. I'm thinking, surely, they can't just give these children to me. And so I found a number for a family lawyer, and I rang them. I said, I have no money, but this is my situation. And I spoke to them. And she said, don't you worry. She said, I will phone you by the end of the day. She phoned me by the end of the day. She said, there's money in your account. And I cried and cried. I said, thank you so much. By faith, again, God provided. I was still not well with my spine, and I was looking after the children, and it was hard, and lots of other things happened. I'd be here till next month trying to tell you all the things that happened in between with my son and the baby's mother and everything else. But I finally knew I had to go home, and when I say home, home to my Father. I couldn't do this no longer on my own. I was getting so tired. My spine was bad. I had to go into hospital. I had surgery through my neck. Then they were telling me they needed to operate on my spine. And I was like, how can I do this with these 3 little children? But while I was off with the children, again, sorry to keep cutting because you don't know, and I hope I'm not confusing you. But the faith of, the faith, having that faith to believe. While I was off work for the first year, I went and done my level 3 in teaching, and I done my assessor qualification. And then the children were all in like private nursery. One was in nursery, one was in school, so there was a lot of different childcare. I then got headhunted by a company, and I went and managed for 10 months with homeless people and people with drug and alcohol problems. I then left there, and that's when I went back home to church. And I went to the church where I'd been dipping in and out. I'd been dipping in and out of this church. I could feel the Holy Spirit there. And I went back to church, and I took the girls with me, obviously. And for the last 3 years, we've been in church. And God has just opened the doors. He's opened the doors, and by faith, it's still by faith, I have to believe him for everything, because now I'm on my own. I'm on my own doing the parent thing all over again. My children are all grown. I have 4 children, one nearly 34, one nearly 32, and twin daughters nearly 30. So I'm doing the children thing all over again and alone. So by faith, I have to ask God to provide for everything, and by faith I have to step out. So with that then, I'm looking at our character, and now God started building my character back up again and changing my ways. Character means moral qualities distinctive to an individual. What is your nature? What is your essence of life? What does your personality say about you? Are you charismatic? Are you strong? Are you weak? Are you shy? What does your temperament say about you? Are you soft? Are you angry? Are you an excited person? Are you a patient person? Or are you an impatient person? Your morality, your way of thinking, how does your mind work? What qualities do you have? We have, because I'm talking to myself as well. Leadership. Are we peculiar? Again, are we strong? Are we weak? What does our identity say about us? Our ego, our originality, our uniqueness, our distinctiveness. What does our spirit say? Are we strong? Are we a breath of fresh air? Are we leading? Are we energized? Our ethos. How is our mood? How do we feel? People at work watch us. People in the world watch us. They watch us all the time. They read us. They won't pick up the word of God, but they read us. And we have such a responsibility. And our character and our faith says a lot. And while I was in the world, and I moved to Birmingham, I met quite a lot of people and friends, girlfriends. And now they've seen me go to church. But they always knew, because I always told them, I'm quite transparent. I don't hide my sin. I don't hide from people and say, oh no, I wouldn't do that. No, I did it, and God forgave me. I was walking in darkness, but he accepted me back into his marvellous light. I was living in destruction, but now I'm living in goodness. And my friends, they watch me, and they say, Rebecca, you're an inspiration. And I'm praying for them. And sometimes you don't understand why. I questioned myself for a long time, and I beat myself up for a long time that I fell out. I fell out onto the wayside. And I never ever thought that I would do that.
But maybe that had to happen in order for me to realise who God truly is. Even though I prayed and I knew, but who knows? Maybe I had to go through that in order for these people waiting on the other side. Maybe they had to watch me go through that and now see me walking by faith. Yesterday morning, even before I left, I was waiting for my taxi for the train station, and the doorbell rang. And the man stood there with a huge bouquet of flowers. Who are they for? Are you Rebecca Webb? Yeah, that's me. Well, they're for you. I was like, wow, nobody ever sends me flowers. And I opened up the card, and it was, dear Rebecca, we are so proud of you. You are an inspiration. We watch you and we thank you. And they were from my non-Christian friends. So I am praying for them. So, by faith, whatever you're asking for, by faith I'm believing that all my children and my grandchildren shall be saved, because God has promised me that all of my household shall be saved. I am there for them. I don't force them. They will remember the grounding they had as they grew up. But God said to me, let go and let me. I borrowed them to you, they are mine. So now all I can do is pray for them. I pray, be there if they need me, but also use wisdom. You know, I have to use wisdom, and my yes be yes and my no be no with them. We have to, as much as sometimes it's difficult, but by faith we have to believe that God can do the miraculous. By faith we have to believe that God can do the impossible. When the world tells us things are impossible, God tells us it is possible with me. Last year I had a thought, I processed it, I actioned it, I applied for it. It was to go to university and do my level 4 counselling. My sister said, you are crazy, you are taking too much on, you're always doing things. Oh, I just looked at you, Rebecca, and where does your strength come from? And I said, well, my strength, you know my strength comes from God. If it is my idea, it will work. If it is God's idea, it will work. I went and I done my level 4 counselling. And my final assignment was in May. And that week was horrendous. I had so much going on. And things going on with my son. My son is a battling alcoholic and he struggles, and so I had a lot of things going on with him right there. And I knew when I put my assignment in, this is not going to pass. Anyway, I had an interview then to go for another interview for university to do my degree for 3 years in integrated counselling. They still sent me the letter, even though I hadn't passed one of my assignments. So I was like, okay. And my colleague said, go. I said, okay, I'll go. I went to the interview, I sat there, I was talking to some of the applicants, they were very academic, already been to university, really academic, talking the long words, and I was like, okay. They came out and said, oh, hello, blah, blah, blah. We will call you in. You have to do a group session first, and then you have to do an exam, and then we will interview you one by one. So we done the group session, we done the exam, and I was like, okay, let's do it. I done it to the best of my ability. Went outside, they came and said, oh, Rebecca will see you last. Okay, you know. So then one of the women, she went in before me, and when she came out, I said, wait, did you come on the train? She said, yes, I've come from Coventry. I will give you a lift. Are you sure? Yeah, just wait for me. I went in, I did my interview, and I came away not knowing, just okay, if this is of you.
And I gave that lady a lift. She was a young lady, and I gave her a lift, and I was able to share with her. So have the opportunity and the faith. So if God tells you, give somebody a lift. Talk to that person in the queue. Have the faith to know, you know. And I shared with that lady. And as she got out the car, she said, Rebecca, if I get a place and you don't, I want to give it to you. She said, because you so deserve it. And I was like, thank you, you know. And anyway, I got home, and the first week of the holidays, I had a letter the first week of August to say, you've been accepted on condition that you have your level 4 certificate. So I have this letter now. Oh, you've been accepted. I've never been to university. I'm 52 years old. And it's like, wow, I wanted to phone my mum. She's not there to say, Mum, you know. But I couldn't get excited because the letter says on condition. And I'm like, but I failed when? So on condition? Okay, okay. Anyway, that night I went on the computer and I went into my moves along to my university, and there was a resit. You can resit this exam. Okay, you have 2 weeks to resit this exam. Right, okay, great. So that first week then, I had a lot of things going on with the children, and then I thought I've got that whole week to do my exam and get it done. I'll ask somebody to have the children, which I always got them when I thought it's holiday time, surely my family can help me out. I went to Wales on the Saturday because my daughter was doing a play, and then there was an outside festival going on. Just before I was ready to leave, I got stung by a bee. Now, I've been stung by bees many times. As I was driving back to Birmingham, I didn't feel well. And then I got home, and I really didn't feel well. I was burning up, and I went in the shower, and I was so hot. I tried to sleep, I couldn't sleep. As I got out of bed, I looked in the mirror, and I was covered in hives all over my body. My throat was closing up. I quickly had to get the children out of bed and run to the medical centre. And they gave me 8 steroids straight away. I was having an allergic reaction. I have never had an allergic reaction. That week, I was so ill. Hives all over me, constantly burning up, taking 8 steroids every day all at once, taking antihistamines, and then it got really bad. And I'm like, I have to resit this assignment. My fellow students were saying to me, ask for an extension. I said, I can't. This is to do with me going in September, in a couple of weeks. I can't. The day it got really bad, I phoned back to the doctors, and they got back to me and said, you need to go to hospital. I went to the hospital. This was the night before my assignment was due. I went to the hospital, and they looked at me and said, okay, we're going to give you 120 milligrams of antihistamine, but the hives could stay for 6 weeks. I went home, and I had to sit there. I was up till 5:30 in the morning, trying to do this assignment in pain. In the end, I said, God, I can't do no more. If this is your will, then I'm going to go. If it's not your will, then I'm not going to go. But for me, I felt like it was an attack. Because you know what? When we're doing wrong, it doesn't matter. But when we're doing right, we face attack, attack, attack. But when we put on our spiritual armour every morning, these clothes, it's decoration. It's our armour that we put on, our spiritual armour that is more important. And when we plead God's blood over us every morning, over ourselves, over everything that we have, then that's more important. So I handed in this sign, I had to submit it, send it all goes electronically. And by faith, I just say, okay, if by faith. But I had also finished my job as well, because by faith I was believing I was going. And again, that's a testimony, because everyone at work said, well, do you know you're going? No, I don't know I'm going. I said, it's in God's hands. If God have opened the door, then no man can shut the door. So it's in God's hands. Rebecca, you're very optimistic. I said, well, I have to be. I always am, because I serve the Lord. And if God makes a way, then we will step through it. So, still then, even I submitted it, I still didn't know where I was going. Things wasn't happening. They wasn't emailing me. I didn't know what was happening. And last week, I contacted them and said, look, I spoke to the missions, what is happening? I've submitted, I haven't got a mark, but I've done the exam at your university anyway. And the man on the phone was like, well, we have a welcome day on Saturday, you can come, but he doesn't mean to say you can enroll. And I was like, okay, no problem, but I will come. I went, and all the other students asked me, you know, oh, have you enrolled yet? No, I haven't enrolled yet. But, you know, God is going to open the door, because if I'm meant to be here, then I'm going to be here. And then last week, I went and had my first day. On Thursday, Wednesday night, everything came up. I went on my computer, on my university page, everything was accepted, secured, everything is sorted for you. So, by faith, again, faith. By faith, I believed. By faith, God received my faith. And every day, and I know all of you here, you're all going through things. We all are. Soldiers go through things every day, you know, but we have to be like Terminators, you know, and wherever the stumbling blocks are coming in our way, whenever they're coming, we're just get out of the way. Because by faith, my God says, by faith, my God says I can do this. By faith, my God says I can have that promotion. Don't look at the outward appearance, because God has given you that. God has placed inside you, wherever God wants you to go, you will go. Wherever God wants you to be, you will be. He will make a way. He will open the door for you. And if anyone's here today and you feel like your flicker is just flickering out, just hold on. Relight that flame, because God is amazing and God will open the doors. And I just thank you for the privilege of being here today. I thank you so much. I thank you for, by faith I'm here. By faith I'm here. So thank you for listening.